Hello adventurers and welcome back to my channel. Today we are in Marshall, Missouri, where we are checking out something a little different. I am at the Jim the Wonder Dog Park. That's right, I said Jim the Wonder Dog. He was known to be a potentially psychic dog. And there's a whole park here in Marshall. And let me tell you why. Let's roll the intro and get right to our adventure. I'd like to introduce you guys to Jim. This is Jim the Wonder Dog. And as you can see, Jim is a pretty smart dog. He's even wearing a mask right now, which means that he's probably smarter than, you know, your average cookie. Along this pathway right here, we can go about and read Jim's story. And boy, is it a good one. It says here that Jim was born in the state of Louisiana, and he was a purebred black and white Llewellyn setter. He was in a bloodline of champions, but Jim was the runt of the litter, so he didn't sell for as much as his litter mates. In fact, he was kind of discounted. And over time, this ended up painting a very interesting story. See, Jim was a little different than the other dogs in the litter. He didn't want to be trained, but he was very observant. And while he was observing what the others were doing, he was taking it in. And he was definitely learning. So when he was actually tested by being taken out into the field, he knew exactly what to do. Better than the dogs who had been trained. Now at first, Jim's owner saw that he wasn't paying attention to the training and just almost thought about giving him away and thought he couldn't be a good hunting dog. But then in his career of hunting, Jim was able to bring in 5,000 birds. He was the best of the best. But then something else happened, and that's what really set Jim the Wonder Dog apart. See, it was at that point when they were out hunting one day that his owner told him to go and sit under the hickory tree. Knowing good and well his dog had no knowledge of what a hickory tree was, he started walking kind of in the direction. In this huge field of all these trees, Jim found the hickory tree. Mind blown, he knew which one it was, although he'd never been instructed as to what a hickory tree looked like. This sparked the beginning of what would be an insane legacy. Okay, we have moved inside the Welcome Center and also the Jim the Wonder Dog Museum, where you can find all sorts of really interesting facts about Jim. For example, we just chatted it up for a little bit and found out that Jim's brain was actually examined at one point, and they did determine that Jim had an abnormally large brain. He also had larger than life eyes, so that could have been the reason that Jim had these psychic abilities. Now, was it? We may never know. It could also be just that he had a genuine connection with his owners. We will never understand completely Jim's abilities, but it's very, very epic that he could understand other languages. He knew what Morse code was. He was definitely smarter than your average dog. Inside the museum section, we do find a few nice pieces that actually connect back to Jim's family, like this trunk right here. Some beautiful historic pieces and also artwork, and then this right here, the building of the Wonder Dog Garden. Now this is Jim with his owners. This is Sam and Pearl Van Arsdale. And as you can see here, Jim just looked like your average dog who loved his people. Now, I personally am a dog lover, and if you have seen some of my earlier videos, I did feature my little dog Spanky. He's a mini schnauzer. He's by far not Jim, but he's pretty bright, and I'd like to think that Spanky has some special abilities too. If you're a dog lover out there, this is definitely a stop for you. It should be on your bucket list. And if you're looking for some unique places in Missouri, this place is where it's at. This isn't just home of Jim the Wonder Dog. There are so many other things here. I could go on and on and on. Now these are some of the pictures that they have representing what Jim would have looked like. This was from a painting that Pearl actually did. And if you'll notice right here, drawing attention again to that eye, his eyes were abnormally large. Now this right here has a special significance right here. At one point, Jim was tested. He was asked to go and find the person in red. And this was the actual outfit that was being worn by Mary Burge of Arrow Rock, Missouri. When she wore this dress in the 30s, Jim the Wonder Dog handpicked her from the crowd. Jim could find people in a crowd that he didn't know based on the color of clothing that they were wearing, the name that they had, all sorts of things. Really, it was like he had some next level powers. And was it convincing? Yes. Was he psychic? Again, we will never know. But he also was able to predict some crazy things, like the World Series champion, the Kentucky Derby winners, the sex of babies before they were born. He had some next level, like, ESP, guys. Now, Jim was so spot on that at some point people started suspecting things, and they thought that his owner was actually coaxing him in the right direction by giving him certain choices. So he was actually put to the test. He was given Morse code. Now remember, I told you, he understood Morse code. He'd never been taught this. His owner had no concept as to what Morse code even was. And so Jim did it. It's crazy to think that a dog that was basically thought to be devalued at birth suddenly became such a hot commodity. People were offering to buy Jim left and right. And continuously, Mr. Van Arsdale said, no, no, no. We are not getting rid of our amazing, wonderful dog. He is our family. It even got to the point where they were offering hundreds of thousands of dollars for Jim the Wonder Dog. Now keep in mind, hundreds of thousands of dollars then was even more than it is now. So to turn down this amount was considered to be crazy, but at the end of the day, they didn't want Jim to fall into the hands of those who might use his special skills for the dark side, aka gambling. Jim continued to live right here in Marshall for many, many years, and it's said that he would lay in the street and just enjoy himself, all the while people would move around him. They knew his value and didn't want any part of that. Now, these are just some of the stories about Jim. There are so many more. In fact, it was such a popular story that Ripley's Believe It or Not picked it up. And there have been numerous books that have been written. Here in the gift shop, you can find several of those. They're super interesting, and today we're walking away with this one, which I love this image, by the way, guys. And if you happen to visit the museum when it's open, you're not leaving without something for the furry friend either. In fact, they have these cute little bandanas because the museum is actually sponsored by a company called Yummy Combs. Yummy Combs is making sure that all of our pets have something super cool, and I decided that they deserved a shout out too, because that's pretty epic that now Spanky is going to have something from Jim the Wonder Dog. I think it's pretty epic that your dog can have something like this. Spanky is going to have a Jim the Wonder Dog bandana thanks to Yummy, and look, Jim's right there on it. That's awesome. Thanks guys for coming out with me today to see Jim the Wonder Dog here in Marshall. I hope that this inspires you to find the special dog in your life and do something awesome with them. If you happen to be in Missouri, make sure that you stop by. I'm gonna leave some links below so you can check out more information on Jim. Till next time guys, bye! So guys, we just found something else cool about Marshall. and Jim the Wonder Dog have these little gems all over the place so that the dogs don't get hot while they're on their walks. Look at this. These are little gem watering dishes.